Hi, this is Kelly Hill, technology reporter for RCR Wireless News. I'm here today with Hongtau Zhan, who is CEO of Cellphone-Mate, and we're going to be talking about the company and some new signal booster products that it's come out with this week that are FCC approved. Welcome. And could you start out?
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
Great. And could you start out with a brief overview of the company and what Cellphone-Mate does?
Yes. Cellphone-Mate has been dedicated to signal booster industry for over a decade. We are the innovation leader of this industry. We invented 5-band signal booster, which was introduced CTIA of 2012. It's revolutionary the industry. It covers all the band and the technology and the carriers in the US. And we're also first to market on so many new products. We're first to market on all the 4G products. The 4G Verizon signal booster, AT&T signal booster, T-Mobile, and Sprint. We also are first to market on high linearity, high gain amplifiers, such as the 65 dB dual band, 65 dB single band, 68 dB dual bands. In terms of technology, we are the cutting edge. We are the leaders in the industry.
Okay. So this week, Cellphone-Mate made the announcement that it has 4 new products that have already passed all tests for pending FCC approval and are set to start shipping in January 2014. Can you tell us a little bit more about the new products?
Yes, definitely. Those 4 new products are the M2M products and the Flex2Go products, the Flex Pro, and the TriFlex. I will explain it later. And those products cover all the technology, 2G, 3G, and 4G. All the major carriers in the US, namely Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. And it's also cover all the aspects of signal booster applications. And all 4 products has already passed all the strict FCC lab testing and pending final government paperwork.
Can you give us some of the context and the history leading up to the new FCC certification process for signal boosters?
Definitely. The signal booster industry, as I mentioned, has started over a decade ago, largely grown organically. And during the last couple of years, intense debate in front of FCC has occurred, largely between all the major carriers in the US and signal booster industry. The issue is quite simple. Should signal booster be legal? Yeah. And FCC, in the end, made a we believe a wise decision. The signal booster is legal officially in the United States, but the signal booster, any signal booster sold after March 2014 has to meet very strict technical standards. The technical standard has been endorsed by all major US carriers like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint.
Okay. And what is different about the testing and the requirements under this new system? Can you tell us how the FCC is ensuring that the signal boosters work well, but at the same time they don't interfere with networks?
Oh yes, Definitely. We have been actively took a part of all the process, including the rulemaking, the setting up the testing procedures with FCC and all the other parties like the carriers, other manufacturers. Um, all the testing being done by FCC certified lab. Currently, there are very few labs can do this kind of testing correctly, and we use some of the top labs in the nation to do all the full testings. Mm-hmm. And the new standard set up a much higher technical entry barriers for signal boosters. There is a couple of things that FCC put a stricter requirement now. The gain, the noise, the linearity. There's a bunch of other things. Overall, it's the safety standard is much higher. As a result, it strikes pretty good balance between protecting the network while at the same time still give industry enough room to grow.
Okay. And how do you think the new process, how is that affected Cellphone-Mate and the signal booster industry as far as developing and testing products? You know, you folks already have 4 new products that will meet this new these new requirements. How do you think, how has that process been, and how do you think the rest of the signal booster industry is handling that?
Yes, this obviously this provide a challenge to every one of us, and I would think it's a big challenge to everyone. And so far we've been handling well. We're the first announced. We have overcome all the technical barriers of the new ruling, the new spec, and we proved that by passing all the testing for not 1, not 2, but 4 of them. Not only the in-building, also the mobile, the M2M, you name it. We covered them all. Not only 2G, 3G, but 4G as well. At the moment, we don't have a lot of information on how the whole industry is doing, how our competitors are doing, but I think it's challenging. I think after March 2014, it's a totally new world for the signal booster industry. We'll have to say, but I think it's a good thing. I think once once the fear goes away, once everybody understands signal booster can be very safe to the network, and the industry will continue growing.
I thought that the range of the products was very interesting. The M2M, the Flex to Go for vehicles and marine applications, Flex Pro for residential and small business, and also Triflex A for AT&T subscribers in terms of residential and small business. That's a pretty wide variety of products that you have there in terms of signal boosters. Is there one particular vertical or others where you see particularly high demand for signal boosters?
Actually, no. The industry is interesting. It's a fragile with a lot of segmentations. The first one, the M2M, the product mostly is used for industrial. It's anywhere you can have a modem. You know, it's the products is used in ATM machine, fleet management. It's also used at home. for the standalone 2G, 3G modems. It's accelerated the speed. It's provided the coverage when you don't have it. Of course, in turn, it provides internet service when you don't have it, when you couldn't get it otherwise. That's traditionally one big area for signal boosters. And Flex to Go, it's mobile. It's you put this thing in the car. You drive around and you get all the bars in the car. You can go hunting. You can go travel. It's great there. That's why it's called Flex to Go. And the Flex Pro is more for single family house. It covers up to 40,000 square feet. I'm sorry, 4,000 square feet. It provide in-building coverage. It's more powerful, but I would think the Flex to Go is technically more difficult because it's mobile. It's moving around. And the Triflex provide the 4G coverage. It's cover all the 4G 4G band one by one. Of course, we have different variety of the Triflexes. So each one of the those areas are important for a signal booster. We couldn't say there's one that's dominant all the others. No, it's not like that.
Okay, great, good to know. You mentioned that March 2014 is when these new FCC requirements officially go into effect. So what does this mean for the signal booster industry in terms of the next year? What are some of the trends or impacts that you see, both from the FCC ruling impact and the mobile industry's needs? I'm just kind of wondering if you can take a look into your crystal ball and tell us, how you see things shaping up over the next year or so as these new requirements go into effect.
I wish I had a crystal ball. I am scratching my head a lot of times to answer all the questions, but we do know a couple of things we can share with everybody. Number one, the legal issue we know for sure has been resolved. Cell phone booster is officially legal now for everyone, for every single Americans. So you're free to use them. FCC says it's important device. It's an important device for our wireless infrastructure, and as long as you use the properly, follow the rules, you're okay. That by itself is huge. That by itself could boost the whole industry multiple times easily. On the other hand, the signal booster is going to be a little bit less powerful than before because of the much stricter industry standard set by FCC. So it might get a little bit more expensive, but we don't think it's a lot more expensive. I think at least over time, the industry will be able to absorb all that cost increase. You can consider as a tax from the government for good cause, for good reason. Industry will be able to overcome that. In the short term, I also think there will be chaos because the transition is so dramatic. We see the whole industry cries for leadership. Dealers don't know what to do. Wires don't know what to do. Customers, if they pay attention to FCC, they don't know what to do. And this is the time, the leadership is needed And this is why we stand up saying, you know what? Since we know what is going on, why do we speak out, tell everybody what it is? And, it's okay. It's a good transition. It's a transition could be, might not always be smooth, could be painful at the time, but in the long term, it's going to be okay. We'll be fine, and the whole industry will be fine. And a year from now on, I believe everybody looking back will be glad we made the transition, and the industry will be healthy, grown. Maybe it will become a giant industry in the near future. I'm talking about 3 years, 5 years. You never know.
Do you think that makes me curious? Do you think that signal boosters will start being marketed directly to consumers now that they're officially legal, or do you think that it's something that might stay as more of an enterprise or commercial product that maybe operators are looking at, or businesses?
Kelly, I had to see you missing a point there.
Oh. Well, but I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of marketing in terms of direct to consumer marketing for a lot of signal booster products, and I'm assuming that has something to do with the fact that up to until fairly recently, it's been kind of an iffy situation in terms of the FCC.
Yes. In fact, the whole signal booster, as I mentioned, start organically, the whole industry. Over a decade ago, that's when all the entrepreneurs in the industry starting building products, selling directly to the consumers. That happens over a decade ago, and it's still happening today. So this whole industry is selling directly to consumer all the time. We're not selling to carriers, although we want to. We've never been given a chance. So this industry grown because it will fulfill a huge need. Anywhere you go, you could easily find area with better coverage. That's why our industry exists. And in so many areas, the coverage is so bad that customers is willing to pay for a solution. A lot of times they couldn't find a solution. So for over a decade, we've been marketing aggressively direct to the consumer without a carrier blessing. That's where the problem came in. That's when carriers saying, maybe you should consult us first. That's when the conflict began, and that's when the FCC ruling, the public hearing ruling, all that happens. The process going on for at least 5 years, as far as I know, and all that has been resolved with the new FCC ruling. That's where we are.
Great.
So our industry has a second life, so to speak.
Yeah. And more opportunities, I think.
I believe so. That's why we at Cellphone-Mate are very excited.
Okay. Great. Well, I've been talking with CEO Hongtau Zhan of Cellphone-Mate. Thank you so much for your time today and for the conversation.
Thank you, Kelly.